All right, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for coming today. My name is Kate Stewart. I'm the president of the Montgomery County Council, and I'm glad to welcome you here today to this event. I first want to recognize some folks who are here with us. Thank you to Kathleen Connor from Congressman Raskin's office for all their support at the federal level. We also have folks from the county executive's office. We have our Rich Manalino is here, and Dr. Stoddard, and Heather Bruskin is also here, our director of our Office of Food Systems Resilience. We have so many nonprofit friends here that I'm not going to name them all. Some of them will speak, but I just want to say thank you so much for them for coming today. And of course, we have our amazing county council here today. So since last year, since the beginning of this year, the Montgomery County Council has been working closely with the County Executive's Office, our county departments, and our nonprofit partners to ensure that we have a coordinated response to the policies and ever-changing fiscal and service impacts caused by the Trump administration. We actually started our efforts before January of last year. The minute that Trump was elected, then our former council president, Andrew Friedson, and I was vice president at that time, we stood up and hosted the United in Service and Support Community Resource Fair for residents. And then we continued in the new year the United in Service and Support webinars to give people resources and connect community members with unemployment benefits and how to get those, health insurance, and essential services needed as the result of the Trump administration's reckless actions to terminate and lay off federal workers and federal contractors and rescind federal funding for key community assistance programs. So we have been doing this work from day one. With the ongoing federal government shutdown, and funding for essential programs like SNAP, which were formerly known as food stamps, food assistance programs, halted by the Trump administration at the end of this week, we have entered a new heightened phase of our community needs. And we need to stand up. We need to do more. And that's what we're doing today. At this critical point, we have to step up and provide additional local resources for our residents and our nonprofit providers who continue to meet the growing needs of our community. We will not be able to replace all the funds that have been lost because of federal administrative policies. And I want to say that our governor, who is really leading on so much right now, stated last week that there is no state, and I'm going to add no county, balance sheet to cover when the federal government tells you, you know what, you're on your own. And I'm going to add to that our federal government is not only saying to us, you are on your own, but that our federal government right now, this Trump administration, is also actively going after and targeting members of our community. Our federal workforce, this administration has said they want them to feel trauma. And that is what they are doing to our federal workers. They are tearing apart our immigrant families. And they are denying basic rights and services to our LGBTQIA community. For the last few weeks, we have heard from Montgomery County agency staff, community nonprofits, and residents that the federal government shutdown is severely affecting our community and the organizations on which our residents rely on for basic and critical needs. So, to help with these growing needs, the full council, all here, almost all here today, will be introducing a $7.75 million public service support package for Montgomery County residents and our nonprofit partners impacted by the ongoing government shutdown. There are 5 components to this appropriation package. The first is food for children and families. Next, community partner support. Third, housing assistance. Fourth, human rights support. And fifth, economic development. Covering the basics. That is what we need to do right now. For food for children and families, faced with the looming threat of SNAP benefits being cut by the Trump administration come this November, on Saturday, November 1st. We are putting forward a special appropriation to allocate an additional $3.5 million in food assistance. This is on top of the $23 million that the county already has budgeted this year for food assistance. This is an additional $3.5 million. Community partner support. The backbone of our community is our nonprofits. They have shown us that time and time again. And as our director of our Office of Grants Management told us just a few weeks ago in front of the full council, that they are feeling the brunt of the shutdown and federal contracts being canceled. So we are putting together a grant program in the amount of $1.5 million for nonprofits to offset canceled or delayed federal funds. We are also establishing a grant program in the amount of $750,000 to be allocated to create capacity building and technical assistance for our nonprofits. Because we have heard from our nonprofit community that they want to work together at this time and work with our county government, and they need to build capacity and have the resources to do that, and so we want to do that as well. Next is housing assistance. We know housing instability has been a problem and a concern for us here in Montgomery County, and it has been exacerbated by this current federal administration. So we are looking to add an additional $1 million to be used for short-term housing support and go towards the SHARP program in the county. That's the Short-Term Housing and Resolution Program. On human rights, this package includes $500,000 to be allocated to the Montgomery County Pride Center to help counter the attacks that our LGBTQIA+ community is facing right now, to provide support and services as we are seeing rising demands among that community. And finally, economic development. Because here in Montgomery County, we are going to continue to invest here in Montgomery County, continue to look for businesses to come here. And so we're putting an additional $500,000 to be allocated to the Economic Development Fund's MOVE grants for business development, expansion, and relocation. This package touches on the basic needs and rights for members of our community. It is one step. As we have said from day one, this is an ongoing situation. We are in this together, and we are going to have to come together at different times to make sure our community is supported. And at this time, this package is what we need. And we will continue to work with the County Executive's Office, our incredible staff, and our Health and Human Services, our Department of Housing and Community Affairs, our Emergency Services, our Office of Food Systems Resilience, all of our staff, to work with them as we weather the storm. This appropriation package will be formally introduced by the full council on November 4th. We will have a public hearing on November 18th at 1:30 p.m., followed immediately by action on these items so that we can put them in place before the holidays begin, because we know the stress that our community is under. And now I'd like to turn it to my colleague, Councilmember Friedson. Where's he?
Thank you, Madam President. These are incredibly challenging times, and we recognize, as the Council President noted, we can't do everything in light of the federal actions that have been taken, but that doesn't absolve us from doing anything. We must do something to support our residents who are hurting and who are struggling more than ever. And this package reflects a comprehensive response that we realize is not exhaustive, but it is deeply, deeply necessary to respond to the moment that we are in, to make sure that we are leveraging the partnerships that we have in our nonprofit community to provide supports to our most vulnerable residents. We have a moral test of government. And the moral test is what we do for those at the dawn of life, the twilight of life, and in the shadows of life. the federal government is failing to meet the moral test of government. And we recognize at the county level and even at the state level, we cannot meet that moral test of government alone, but we can respond to that moral test of government with our nonprofit partners who provide so many of the services to our residents who need it right now more than ever. So this package really is reflective of strengthening the partnership that we have with our nonprofit service provider community that are at the core of providing local services to our residents. And we have economic development as part of this as well, to make sure that as the federal government is shutting down federal government, that we're not shutting down our local economy, that we are not shutting down and shying away from the need to provide jobs, to provide opportunities, to provide resources that we are going to need now and as we move forward to address these challenges. We recognize that the SNAP-Ed reductions are $12 million a month to Montgomery County. We are never going to be able to meet the full breadth of the draconian actions that are taken by the federal government. But with $3.5 million of support, we can step in and provide the supports that are necessary to get us through this current moment. In the early days of COVID, we responded as the first local government with a comprehensive approach with the Public Health Emergency Grant Program. That became the beginning of what was our ongoing response that led to Montgomery County leading the country in terms of our response to the pandemic. We are in a similar crisis that we face today. We need to be similarly responsive. And just like we did during COVID, we're going to have to leverage the partnerships in the nonprofit community and among our county residents to be able to stand up and to step up at a time when we need it more than ever. Thank you to the council president. Thank you to colleagues. Thank you to the executive branch and to all of our partners who are here today. We're going to need that partnership now more than ever.
Thank you. Next we'll hear from Councilmember Balcom.
Thank you. Oh, a little curly, sorry. Sorry about that. Thank you all for being here and for your interest in this important funding. Thank you to our nonprofits. It's so great to see you, and we're here for you. Thanks to Council President Stewart, Councilmember Friedson for their leadership in pulling this package together, and of course to the entire council who unanimously supports this funding. Every single day, our county and our residents are forced to take a reactive stance as we are bombarded by the cruelty of this Trump administration. Even prior to the shutdown, we in Montgomery County felt the shock waves of the continued layoffs. It affected our families, it affected our friends, it affected our neighbors. I can imagine there's not one of us in this room who don't have someone who personally is impacted by the initial layoffs and certainly by this shutdown. The shutdown only exacerbated the cruelty that's perpetrated on our residents every day. This supplemental funding is our opportunity to put a proactive stance, to put it in place, the resources that we need to weather this particular storm. Given the strategy of the Trump administration, we have no clue how far, how deep, how long this is going to go. Their entire strategy is chaos. This is one thing that we can do to show our community that we stand with you, we are providing real, substantive care, and we support you, we are here from you, and this is something that we are all doing together. So thank you.
Thank you. And now we'll hear from two of our community partners. First, the Manna Food Center Chief Executive Officer, Craig Rice, and then I'll ask Phillip Alexander Downie to make his way over as well.
Well, thank you very much, Madam President, and to all of the Montgomery County Council. The message is loud and clear, and it is that help is on the way. And I want to make sure that all of the folks who have come to all of our doors, who have shown up with their children, asking for a little help to make sure that they don't go hungry tonight, that help is on the way. And it only happens when government steps up and makes sure that they showcase that we will lead in a time where others may not. It is a true testament to a community when we talk about values. And I want to make sure that all of our county partners understand how appreciative we are, because it started back when Director Bruskin and the Office of Food System Resilience gave us the funding to be able to establish ourselves to have the basic structure so that we could weather a storm like this with additional funding. So thank you, Director Bruskin. I want to thank the County Council and executive leadership. And most importantly, I want to thank my partners. Up County Hub, Interfaith Works, Bethesda Cares, Nourishing Bethesda, Rainbow, Kingdom, all of the folks who continue each and every day, some of which couldn't be with me today, and the myriad of those out there that are serving families as we speak, because we know that there is work to be done. And today, we are actually being provided with the resources to do that work. We are blessed to live in a county like Montgomery County. I want to make sure that everybody understands that not everyone, as I've been talking to my colleagues across the nation and even across this region, do not have. But we can set an example. And I think that's what today also shows, in showing the nation that together with local government, with local nonprofits, with leaders and community members who understand what is at stake, that we can step up and truly make a difference. And I thank each and every one of you for making that happen. Thank you, Madam President.
Next, we'll hear from the MoCo Pride Center's Chief Executive Officer, Phillip Alexander Downie.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Council President.
You're tall.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Council President, and thank you to all of our amazing county council members as well as our executive branch. My name again is Phillip Alexander Downie. My pronouns are he, him, and I have the honor of serving as the Chief Executive Officer of the Montgomery County Pride Family and MoCo Pride Center. We are home to the first Pride Resource Center in Montgomery County's history, open 365 days a year, providing free, affirming services for LGBTQIA+ folks. We focus on our most underserved, disenfranchised, and marginalized communities where all are welcome. Community members seek us to find warmth, safety, and belonging. They come for support groups, documents assistance, crisis navigation, safety planning, and linkage to a plethora of wellness resources. We connect people to food, housing, healthcare, and stability, helping our residents reclaim security, dignity, and hope. But the challenges we face go far beyond this federal shutdown. We are living through an administration that is systematically dismantling protections, stripping away rights, defunding critical programs, and advancing policies that threaten to erase entire communities from public life. The shutdown only deepens that harm, halting vital food programs, housing, and essential resources at the very moment people need them most. Through the Montgomery County Pride Family, we work together to bridge those gaps. Living Your Truth builds empowerment and connection through inclusive programs, linkage to care, and countywide outreach. Trans Maryland ensures access to affirming care and identification documents, hosts weekly support groups, and provides education, resources, navigation, and for trans and gender expansive people across the state. MoCo Pride Prom creates joyful, affirming spaces for LGBTQIA youth to celebrate safely and authentically. Poolsville Pride serves our rural residents, ensuring visibility, access, and belonging in communities often left out of the conversation. Drag Story Hour DMV is an intergenerational multilingual literacy program that brings families together through creativity and storytelling. Maryland Trans Unity fosters connection and well-being through peer-led support, education, and community building for trans and gender expansive people. At the Physical Pride Center, we are hosting chosen family dinners so that we are there for folks when they need us through the holidays, because we are open every single day of the year. This work is about building community, care, and belonging, and we need all of you and your support as we do this work together. And this is a community's approach, and we could not do this without the work of our amazing county council and our executive branch and our community members and our nonprofit partners who are working and striving to ensure that we mitigate these terrible circumstances. So thank you so much to our county council members for creating spaces in a community where we know that we all belong. Thank you all so much.
Thank you so much, Phillip. So now I will turn it over to my colleague, Councilmember Gabe Albanaz, who chairs the Health and Human Services Committee.
Buenas tardes. It is truly, while very sobering and sad for us to have to once again come together under very difficult circumstances, it's enlightening and heartening to know that once again Montgomery County is demonstrating its commitment, especially to our most vulnerable populations. I want to publicly thank our council president for pulling this together, and all of my colleagues for so quickly jumping on, recognizing the need before us, which is feeling more and more overwhelming, not just by the day, but by the hour. We have been here before. We have seen crises before. But the one we are experiencing right now is among the most disorienting that I have experienced in my time in public life. This is truly an all-hands-on-deck situation. Every branch of government, from our federal, state, to our local levels, to our municipal levels, to our nonprofit organizations, our incredible departments and agencies must continue to work collaboratively together to strengthen our social safety net. Over the last 7 years, we've made significant investments in that social safety net, but those are being tested right now in ways that none of us could have ever imagined. And so while this investment is important, it is also symbolic, because as my former colleague, Councilmember Rice, said, it does demonstrate that we are here and we see our community, and we are going to do everything that we can within our power to support everyone. I want to also especially thank our partners in the executive branch for their work and their commitment. As chair of the county's Health and Human Services Committee, I have the opportunity every day to see the work and commitment of that extraordinary department and agency, which is working around the clock to support our most vulnerable populations. Thank you all again for being here today. There will be much more to do, but this day is important. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to introduce Councilmember Natalie Fanning-Gonzalez, who chairs our Economic Development Committee. And as we said, it was really important to the council that there were 5 pieces of this package, and that as we are facing this crisis, we don't forget about the investment in our economy here in Montgomery County, and she has really led the way on that. So Councilmember Fanning-Gonzalez.
Thank you so much, Madam President. I'm just going to add 2 things and keep it short and sweet. One is that we as a county, but also as a region, we must retain our talent. That talent that this current president is simply illegally firing. Okay, so that's what's happening right now. So in times of crisis, that's when people come together, and that's when you show your true colors with your money. And that's why we're here today with this showing with our passion and our care for our community by providing financial support. And it's just one little thing ahead of the many other steps that we're going to be taking. The other thing that I would like to highlight is that, Montgomery County is right next to Washington, D.C. This needs to be seen as a regional effort, and this is me or us calling on our regional partners in Virginia, in D.C., in Prince George's County, and so forth, that they also need to step it up. Because when people go out and they lose a home, it's not like that they stay in their community, they move around. This is the time when we show partnership, and that this is the Washington, D.C. region, and we're here to protect our community, and we're going to do it together. So let's make sure that we continue to inspire our partners so they can come to the table just as we are, in partnership and with love, because we need more of that nowadays. Thank you.
you. Next, I'd like to call up Councilmember Evan Glass.
Thank you very much, Council President. I appreciate your swift leadership on this effort because as we see the chaos and destruction down on Pennsylvania Avenue, we are committed to making sure that all of our residents and neighbors here on Rockville Pike are protected. That is what this is all about, recognizing that all of the efforts that Donald Trump is trying to undertake, the Republicans on Capitol Hill who have forgotten, the Republicans on Capitol Hill have forgotten who they serve, and the American people and our residents here in Montgomery County need help. And there is no place I would rather be than here in Montgomery County, where we have unified leadership across the board who are dedicated to making sure that every resident is safe, healthy, and protected. That's what this proposal is all about. And I thank you, I thank the executive team, and I thank all of us and our nonprofit partners. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll have Councilmember Sidney Katz.
Thank you, Madam President. When you're this late in the program, I just broke the microphone. When you're this late, that's the reason they made me late, because they knew that was going to. I dropped the mic. Yeah, excuse me. But when you're this late in the program, pretty much anything that could be said has been said, and it's the old story, but it hadn't been said by me. But I will tell you this. I have notes, and I'm not going to read those, but I will say this. I'm someone who's very proud of the fact that I was born in Montgomery County. I've had many a friend in Montgomery County. I've had some people that you maybe didn't want to be friends with in Montgomery County, but I have never met anyone who would want to starve somebody. I have never met anyone that would be happy to have somebody homeless or to have someone in such a situation that they're in dire straits. This is more than just about money. This is about, as has been mentioned a couple times, this is about love, and this is about a love of a community coming together, serving your neighbors. And my colleagues have heard me say many more times at once, I'm someone that believes a community is a family. And today, our family is coming together to serve each other. Thank you all for everything you do.
Thank you, Councilmember Katz. Now we'll have Councilmember Don Lukey.
Hard to go after Council Dad, as he sometimes refers to himself, which I appreciate. And I'm going to borrow a phrase from my colleague, Councilmember Albornoz, who didn't use this phrase today, but he likes to say a lot of the time, good morning or good afternoon, good people. This room is packed with good people who haven't rested at all since this transition took place. And while we know there's no way for us to fill all the gaps, to fix all the things, no matter how hard that tugs at everyone's heartstrings and we want to, we know we have to do something. And we will keep adjusting and making choices in the best interest of our community, in the best interest of the whole, so that we aren't leaving people without a resource, so that we aren't turning people away, even if that has become the noise down the road and the tactic of control and hate that has permeated our lives and has made everyone in our community feel anxious and tired and exhausted from dealing with these issues. So I know that I feel like I am in great shape being here in this room with so many thoughtful people who look at these problems through different lenses and bring together the best of what Montgomery County can offer to help bridge those gaps that are being created by those who don't share our values. So thank you. I'm proud to serve Montgomery County, and I'm proud to be here with all of you today. Thank you.
Next, we have Councilmember Kristen Mink.
Thank you all for being here today and for all of the work that you do on a daily basis. I wanted to give a special shout out to all of the volunteers who are doing so much of this work, multiplying the efforts of everyone here in this room. And I know everyone here in this room is also doing volunteer work as well. Work outside, not just the daily hours, but outside the job description, most definitely. But we have so many people across the county who are stepping up in all kinds of creative ways to make sure that we keep everyone safe, housed, fed, receiving health care. We have doctors who are offering services for free, which of course is not free for them. It's really, really, truly remarkable. And so I'm very proud to be here with my colleagues and with the executive branch to be able to offer up funding to help to continue to multiply those efforts of our nonprofit partners, of our community partners, and of all the volunteers who are stepping up to the plate in all kinds of ways that we never thought would be necessary, big and small. And I will note that this government shutdown is not a normal shutdown. We don't know when this is going to end. The behaviors that we are seeing on the Hill, which I'm so grateful to our federal partners who are fighting the good fight day in and day out, but the behaviors are not normal. It does not seem like true efforts to get us back on track and to get us moving forward, and that's very scary. And so it is at times like these when it's important for us to defy the stereotype of government as being too slow and make sure that we are on the front end and showing that we see the urgency and we're going to take action. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Thank you. And now we'll have Councilmember Sales.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to express my gratitude to President Stewart, my colleagues, and our community partners as we unite to announce the $7.75 million public service support resolution, reaffirming our commitment to standing with residents and nonprofit organizations who are struggling as the federal administration has abandoned them. Today marks 28 days of the shutdown, a regrettable, prolonged disruption causing severe, irreversible harm to our federal employees, their families, veterans, nonprofits, small businesses, and our neighbors, the lifeblood of our community, are in dire need of support. The urgency of this situation demands that we act decisively to alleviate their unnecessary and untimely suffering as we near the holiday season. As the Council's lead for eliminating disparities, I am acutely aware that crises exacerbate the systemic inequities in our communities. The detrimental impact of a federal government shutdown is not felt equally. Black and brown individuals, especially Black women, have been disproportionately affected by the federal workforce cuts, adding another level of difficulty for those who are already facing significant challenges. With growing uncertainty, particularly concerning the cruel and misguided potential cuts to SNAP benefits, and those our special appropriation serves as a clear statement, we will not allow anyone in Montgomery County to go without support. We will continue to advocate fiercely, without apology, for the essential protections to safeguard our community and provide the support our residents deserve. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Those are all our speakers. I do want to also recognize we have Lee Blinder, who is the Executive Director of Trans Maryland here. And I also do want to just thank our central staff here on the council who worked very quickly to help us pull together this package as we saw the need increasing so rapidly over the last couple of weeks. We have a public hearing that we're supposed to be at, but I think we have time to take a couple of questions. And I also would like to recommend to members of the media that we do have many members of our nonprofit community here, so that when we end our formal program here, I hope that you will avail yourself of their presence. Yeah.
Hi, Thomas Stewart from Channel 5. Simple question. You're not the federal government. No. You've had budget problems here. Can you afford this? And can you afford what's to come if they don't solve the shutdown?
So as we said before, that And as our governor has said, and I think Mr. Madaleno said earlier today as well in his the county executive's press event, that we're not going to be able to backfill all the cuts of the federal government. There's just no possibility of that. But what we can do is provide the resources that to support our community at this time. And the reason we can do that is because this council did an excellent job at our budget last year, because we laid the foundation for our support and our social services, as well as kept healthy reserves. So at this time, yes, we can afford this package, the $7.75 million. Moving forward, we're going to work hand in hand with the county exec's office and our department heads to look at how we're prioritizing the needs in our community.
Is there any way to tell right now how far out this will take you?
I think I would leave that question probably up to our department heads, and you can follow up with them. You know, I think Director Bruskin has done an excellent job with the resources she has available now, and I'm sure she can answer questions on that, as well as our Department of Health and Human Services. So I would recommend following up with them. Yeah, I'll go over here, yeah.
What is the source of the funds? Is this from reserves?
Reserves, yes, is our general reserves. Ginny?
Are there going to be additional efforts for connection, making sure that people who maybe haven't previously been to a county resource center or a food bank are aware of things that exist here? Like, I've interviewed people who don't know that the MoCo Pride Center exists until I interview them.
Yeah.
And so, despite the best efforts of the government, so are there new connection efforts that are part of this?
Absolutely, I would say. So, Director Bruskin, do you mind if I actually call you up and maybe Craig? Because I know this is something that our Office of Food Systems Resilience has been looking at. And I will just say that's one of the reasons why we do these type of press events, and we rely so heavily also on us getting the word out, but each of you in the media making sure that you're getting the word out as well. But I'd like to turn over to Director Bruskin to talk about some of the programs.
Thank you, Council President. Heather Bruskin, the Director of the County's Office of Food Systems Resilience. So to the question specifically about how do we reach the people who are seeking support, who never have before, we conducted a pulse survey of our food assistance provider community last week, and 80% of them said that they were seeing people who are coming for support for the first time. So we know that some people are finding their way, but we have no way of measuring how many are not. But what I can say I feel confident about is that the Capital Area Food Bank's hunger report was released just a few weeks ago, and one of the metrics that they track is how many or what percentage of the food insecure families are being reached with support and information about support available. And Montgomery County is the only jurisdiction in the entire DMV where that number is improving. In every other jurisdiction, the number of food insecure families that are not connected to resources is going down. But here it's growing, and that's 100% because of the investments that our county has made in not only making sure that there's food available to distribute to families, but that we're strengthening that network of resources and collaboration that is critical to scale up in times like this.
Super helpful. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And I do just want to point out, we have the poster over here, and this is just one example of what our Office of Food Systems Resilience puts out to connect to people. So they're also very good about, and you'll see, I think the top line says that there are flow charts in 7 different languages that we have to connect people to food resources. And I'd like to turn it over to Craig Rice to talk about particularly the nonprofit component of this package and what that will mean for folks.
Well, thank you very much, Council President. And Jenny, let me just say that times are different. And times are different, so it calls for different kinds of action. I'm going to give a shout out to Community Bridges, to Wider Circle, to Montgomery County Coalition for the Homeless, nonprofit Montgomery. We have all been meeting and coming together as one to talk about these issues and how we can actually do multiple things with $1. I will tell you that part of what we're about to roll out with Manna Food Center will be launching with Mobilize Montgomery on November 7th, where not only will folks be able to avail themselves of signing up for unemployment, as well as workforce development classes, but they'll also receive food assistance for those families. These kinds of comminglings of nonprofits together has not traditionally happened before, but we know that time is different. And so because the time is different, we need to react differently. And so us being able to maximize our reach so that a person who may be walking into Wider Circles doors asking for furniture also needs food. And we need to make sure that we're maximizing those touch points to be able to ensure that we're giving folks everything that they need. That is what's different now, and we remain committed under this new umbrella of cohesion of us working together because we know that it will maximize the impact we have on the families we serve.
Thank you. So we have folks waiting downstairs for us to begin the public hearing. Again, I just want to thank you all for being here. We'll be available to answer questions, but I really would just stress having our nonprofit partners here to answer your questions as well. So thank you very much, everyone. Again, November 4th, formal introduction, public hearing on November 18th, and action then. Thank you all.